It's Wednesday, May 4th, and this is now on HNN.
High inflation imposes significant hardship.
The Fed raises its key interest rate by a half a point in an effort to tame the worst inflation in 40 years.
A breakthrough in an attempted murder case downtown. The weapon, a stainless steel water bottle, and we'll tell you who has been arrested.
I'm Natalie Brand at the Supreme Court. A look at how states and lawmakers are preparing for the court's final decision on Roe v. Wade.
These stories, plus ocean safety reports hundreds of rescues and assists as huge surf pounds South Shores. We'll show you the swell action coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This is now on this Wednesday. You got Jonathan and Ashley right here in the H&N Digital Center. So good to be back with you. Want to get started with some breaking news.
The Hawaii County Council just voted against cutting the gas tax by 10 cents a gallon.
Motion fails.
Motion fails. Thank you. Just wanted to confirm that for the public. That resolution number 363-22 fails.
It was a tie, 4-4 vote with one council member absent. The resolution takes 5 votes to pass, so it failed. Those in support of this resolution said residents are being overtaxed already. Hilo's record high gas prices hit a real benchmark on Saturday at $5.34 a gallon, according to AAA. Critics were worried that cutting the gas tax will hurt funding for road repairs and other projects.
Thinking about what it costs people on their pocketbooks, and I have a lot of folks in District 1 who drive over to the west side for employment as well, and I know it's impacting them. But you know what? I gotta get my tires changed every year. I gotta get my shocks done every 3 to 4 years. You can talk about hitting the pocketbook. The roads in my district are just that bad that they are damaging people's cars. I get calls all the time. Come pave this, come pave that. And we can't do it. We just can't do it.
Consumer prices continue to rise at the fastest rate in decades, and that has the Federal Reserve once again increasing interest rates in an attempt to slow inflation down.
My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship, especially on those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell announced a 0.5 percentage point increase, the biggest boost in 22 years.
I think what Jerome Powell is telling us is that the Fed is in full-on inflation-fighting mode.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the Fed could continue to raise rates in the coming months to slow down price hikes, but faces a delicate balancing act.
The Fed is trying not to go so fast to increase interest rates by so much so quickly that it would cause the economy to stop in its tracks.
The White House has supported the Fed's effort to lower inflation, and while this strategy is designed to bring prices down, it also makes borrowing money more expensive. Homeowners who have an adjustable rate mortgage could see their rate go up. Auto loans, student loans, and interest on credit cards will also rise slightly.
On the flip side, savers should see a tiny bit more interest being credited in savings accounts, money market accounts.
Schlesinger says it will take time for the latest rate hike to have an effect on the economy and ease the pace of inflation. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
New today, police say a suspect has been arrested following yesterday's attempted murder in downtown. We're told 32-year-old Armin Birchie has not been charged but remains in police custody as of this morning. First responders say a 57-year-old security guard was attacked with a stainless steel water bottle and suffered a critical head injury. That was around 5:30 yesterday on 4th Street Mall. Police say they eventually located the suspect nearby on Alakea Street. The motive remains unclear. A fire broke out overnight in Kaneohe. HFD tells us they got a 911 call just before midnight when smoke and flames were spotted coming from a warehouse. This was along Kamehameha Highway between the King Windward Nissan and Yamashiro Building Supply. 36 firefighters responded. EMS and HPD were also called. And Hawaiian Electric was on scene to help with down power lines. HFD crews had to rotate because of the intensity and complexity of the work. The cause is under investigation. No injuries were reported.
The political fallout is growing over the leak of a Supreme Court majority draft opinion suggesting that Roe v. Wade should be overturned. This has reignited passions on both sides just 6 months out of those November midterm elections. Natalie Brand has more.
You don't care if people die. As demonstrators remained outside of the U.S. Supreme Court for the second straight day, President Joe Biden took aim at Republicans and supporters of his predecessor.
What are the next things that are going to be attacked? Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history, in recent American history.
On Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers are vowing to hold a vote on legislation to make Roe v. Wade federal law.
Every single American is going to see where every single senator stands.
But with the filibuster and a 50-50 Senate, there's little to no chance of passage because Democrats need at least 60 votes. The issue is poised to galvanize voters on both sides heading into this year's elections.
Those decisions should be made by the elected representatives of the people back in the various states.
The leaked draft opinion was circulated internally among justices in February. The final decision isn't expected until late June or early July, but already states and healthcare providers are preparing.
At the heart of the Supreme Court case is a Mississippi law that bans most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Volunteers who escort patients to what's known as the Pink House say they aren't shocked. It's the state's only remaining abortion clinic.
What we wanted it to be was the protesters went away, and this could be normal health care like it should be. Unfortunately, that's not the reason we won't be needed anymore.
Abortion access in Pennsylvania will remain legal and safe.
Democratic governors are vowing to protect or expand abortion rights. More than 20 GOP-led states have laws that would restrict abortions should the nearly 50-year-old precedent be struck down. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
DOH is reporting 4,249 new COVID-19 cases and 10 additional deaths over the last week. Now keep in mind, the total for new COVID infections does not include positives through at-home tests. The additional fatalities raise the state's COVID death toll to 1,428.
The Native Hawaiian Legislative Caucus just held a press conference to highlight moves made this legislative session for Native Hawaiians. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs had been asking the legislature for a greater share of revenue generated by lands formerly held by the Hawaiian Kingdom. Here's an update on that.
In the House, they quickly said $600 million should go to DHHL of the $1 billion. The second $1 billion did not become available until March, but if you look at the legislative record, you'll see that bills to address OHA's needs, Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, and other Hawaiian programs were all making their way forward so that they could be considered.
We know what the issues are out there, whether it's at OHA or the Department of Hawaiian Homelands or in various communities. But you now see a willingness of this legislature to take on the toughest issues, the most critical issues, and try to resolve them, working with the community, working with the stakeholders. And I think putting aside budgets, putting aside dollars and appropriations, I think that is the underlying message of this session, is that this legislature is committed to reconciling these kinds of conflicts going forward.
Our Mahealani Richardson was at the press conference, is going to have so much more information on what came out of it coming up on later editions of HNN. Woohoo! Brand new segment here. Yeah, What You Watching Wednesday. We're going to run through what we're watching and maybe suggest to you what's new out there on streaming services and all kinds of things. So this is something coming in the galaxies not so far, far away. Yeah, it's May 4th, also known as Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And that's no coincidence that Disney Plus is releasing a trailer for its upcoming series about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Here's a preview.
They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive. Leave us alone. When the time comes, he must be trained. Like you trained his father?
Ooh, dramatic pulse there. As you can just see, this is coming May 27th. The series follows Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi after his apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, turned to the dark side to become someone we all know as Darth Vader. We know that storyline. Yep, Hayden Christensen reprises his role as Darth Vader. And this is said to be a 6-part series event. It premieres on, again, May 27th on Disney Plus. So much Star Wars stuff being pumped out by Disney Plus. We knew that was the plan ever since they purchased it from Lucasfilms. I have to say, though, I was not a huge fan of the last one, Boba Fett, but I did like Mandalorian.
There's so much out there.
There
It's hard
really
to keep
is.
track.
Yeah. What'd you find?
So the votes have been counted, and Tanel Luafalemana has made it to the grand finale of the American Song Contest right here on KHNL.
But hey, whatever's meant to be will be. This has all been like just such an amazing experience. This won't be the last time won't be in front of all these lights and cameras and stuff. I feel like this is just the beginning of something huge, you know, of huge things, you know. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah, so the 33-year-old part-time Hawaii resident represents American Samoa. On Instagram today, she posted, quote, "We made it to the grand finale. And Polynesian people, I need you. Please print, post, and pray towards this win. This is for us. It's our time to be recognized on big stages. Let's go." Don't forget, the American Song Contest airs Monday in primetime right here on KHNL.
Loved following our local contenders there, and pretty cool show for its first season. Yeah, little take on Eurovision, the version that's been in place in Europe for years, and also a little mix in there, sort of American Idol, I'd say.
Yeah, go to now.
Yes.
So there are new details about another public attack on a comedian, and Dave Chappelle, he was performing at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles last night when an armed man got on stage and tackled him. Jerika Duncan has more.
History. This video captures the moment a spectator rushed the stage and tackled comedian Dave Chappelle. He was performing at the Netflix as a Joke live comedy festival in Hollywood. The encounter took place right as Chappelle was wrapping up his set. He appeared to be uninjured, and security quickly apprehended his attacker. Witnesses reported the man was then kicked and punched repeatedly by security guards. Afterward, Chappelle brushed off the incident.
Oh, now everybody comes out for the curtain call.
And thanked comedian and actor Jamie Foxx for checking on his well-being just as the chaos unfolded.
Whenever you're in trouble, Jamie Foxx will show up in the sheriff's hat.
The suspect, seen here on a stretcher, has been identified as 23-year-old Isaiah Lee. He was carrying a knife blade and replica handgun and has been arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. The scary moment later took a comedic turn as Chris Rock, who was slapped by actor Will Smith at the Oscars, took the stage.
Was that Will Smith?
Jerika Duncan, CBS News.
Had to get that Will Smith joke in there, huh?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, okay, let's switch gears now, guys. Taking you live outside. Check that out. Beautiful blue skies, just a little bit of clouds. Let's see what Guy Hoggy has to say about those conditions.
So still a little damp tonight for the tips. And then as that disturbance moves away, you can expect more cloud cover. Even though the shower activity will back off, the clouds will increase tomorrow and on Friday. And then for the weekend, you can see we're not expecting much rain at all. Although after that, we could see some wind and Mocha showers. So here's your 7-day forecast. Scattered showers today. Possible isolated thunderstorms for Kauai and Oahu, probably early in the day. And then increasing clouds, but fewer showers starting tonight all the way through Friday. Don't expect a whole lot of sunshine until then. And then on Saturday, things start to settle down, we'll see more sunshine with slower trade winds.
Right now, Ocean Safety asking beachgoers to be extra cautious because of that huge swell on the South Shore. Casey Lund shows us the action.
Oh, what a breathtaking day it's been here at Magic Island. We actually arrived right here at the point around 4:30 this morning, and even that early it was really pumping. High tide came in around 5:43 this morning, and that's when we saw some really big faces, anywhere between 5, 8, and even 10 feet. Later on in the morning, plenty of surfers out here and bodyboarders, but this is not for beginners, as so many people learned yesterday. But it's been drawing crowds here to Magic Island and really all over the South Shore, people that surf and those that don't. Many came just to see how powerful this swell was.
This is one of my go-to spots. I'm an early morning exerciser, and I used to surf.
Even when you were surfing, would you go out today?
No.
I also spoke to a visitor from Australia who was out here yesterday. He says the camaraderie, the crew that was out here was really great. A lot of really well-versed surfers that were looking out for one another, and the surf was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, really powerful surf, and I suppose it was, very privileged to come out here for a surf, but those lefts at Ala Moana bowls were really charging through, so right out at the buoy. And really good crew out there yesterday, and everyone was sharing the waves, and it was pretty heavy, and you're really getting, there were a lot of barrels, so you had to be quick on the takeoffs and everything else. It was a nice finish to a holiday in Hawaii.
Though yesterday was a very serious situation, especially for ocean safety lifeguards who reported 320 rescues and assists on the South Shore alone, and that was all before 5 p.m. yesterday. Faces were anywhere between 10, 15, and some people were reporting even 20 feet heights near Diamond Head. Lifeguards were particularly busy at Ala Moana Bowls, Point Panic Castles, and Kapuhulu Walls. Photographer Raymond Brockington was at the body surfing spot off Kewalo's Basin when a surfer got into trouble there and fellow riders came to his aid. The group was able to get him on a board and brought him safely to shore.
Quite shocked. I wasn't expecting for that to happen, and for me to actually capture him going in the water and see the same person floating upside down being pulled back to shore.
Looked like he was running low on energy, so yeah, and a little bit of fatigue. So I put him on my board. We ended up getting kind of drawn out pretty far with the water coming out of the channel, and I waved over a couple more guys with some fins to help me paddle him in, and yeah, that's where the teamwork paid off.
And the swell we saw yesterday was really coinciding with the high tide yesterday afternoon and into the evening. We're expecting the same today and really into tomorrow before things really start to calm down. A reminder from Ocean Safety to know your skill level, and when in doubt, don't go out. Stay safe on shore. Reporting at Magic Island, I'm Casey Lund. Now back to you.
Thank you, Casey. And thanks for filling in, man. I appreciate it to get a little vacay. All right, guys. The chicken sandwich war, is that still a thing? Well, apparently it is, because Popeyes, the one that launched it all, is out with a new one. This limited edition Buffalo Ranch Chicken Sandwich features the classic ingredients like hand-battered crispy chicken on a brioche bun with pickles, but it's topped with a new sauce that's a mixture of buttermilk ranch and spicy buffalo. Man, I'm hungry. I love Popeyes.
I mean, they're close by, Jonathan.
Yeah, and you are our chicken sandwich expert. I know you've hosted contests with chicken sandwiches, and you liked the last one, right?
Yeah, it was really good. You remember those long lines they had for them when they first came out?
Yeah, I do. It was insane.
It was worth the hype, I think.
What'd you find?
So our girl, country music superstar Dolly Parton has been elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Parton's name was announced today along with other performers, Pat Benatar, Duran Duran, Eminem, the Eurythmics, Lionel Richie, and Carly Simon. So that's the class of 2022 of inductees. So you may remember back in February, Parton respectfully declined the nomination to the Hall of Fame. She was saying on an Instagram post that she didn't feel that she earned that right and was bowing out, which is crazy. Last week, however, she relented and said she would accept the induction if she made the list, admitting that she learned recently the Hall of Fame wasn't just for rock artists and because there was a fan vote. Well, clearly she made the list for selling more than 100 million albums and releasing 25 #1 songs, among other accomplishments. And Dolly will be enshrined at the induction ceremony November 5th. The event will air at a later date on HBO.
All right, go Dolly.
Yeah.
And some sports news trending.
Yeah, so the shirt Diego Maradona wore against England at the 1986 World Cup, synonymous with his brilliance at that tournament in Mexico, has sold for almost $9.3 million in an online auction. So that smashes the record for an item of sports memorabilia. So the blue jersey was sold to an anonymous buyer. It had previously been in the possession of former England midfielder Steve Hodge, who exchanged shirts with Maradona after Argentina's 2-1 quarterfinal victory. Now, during the game, Hodge unintentionally flicked the ball into the air for Maradona to score the infamous Hand of God goal. A few minutes later, Maradona scored the so-called goal of the century.
Don't watch soccer, but apparently it's a big deal.
$9.3 million for that.
Woo, a really big deal.
Yeah.
Really big deal. Okay, even more sports news to talk about, and this is local. Win in advance. That's what happened last night for our UH team defending their volleyball title. Let's toss it over to Kyle Chinin with more from LA.
Aloha from Hollywood. Now, when you come to Tinseltown, you come to see the stars. And the Rainbow Warriors stars were out last night at UCLA, dominating North Greenville in the opening round of the NCAA Men's Volleyball National Tournament. The Bows got cooking fast, easily taking the first set, showing why they're the defending national champs. But in the second set, UH put it in cruise control, letting GNU come back slightly.
I thought the second set we got a little loose and had more errors than we usually expect out of us, or lower than our standard, but able to put it in play and go on some runs.
However, they turned it back on to take set 2, and in the final set, it would be much of the same, taking set 3 for a clean sweep. Leading the way for Hawaii was their pair of Greek freaks in Spiros Hakas and Dimitrios Mouklias, with Hakas smacking a team-high 12 kills, 4 digs, and 3 blocks, while Mouklias added 10 kills, 5 digs, and 2 blocks.
Beginning with our passing, and then Jakob doing a great job running the middle of the court a lot, helped us open the court for us, and I think we did a great job with that. And then our block adjusted after the first set, it felt better, and I think we executed what we needed to do, and we got the win.
Now, coming up on Hawaiian News Now, I'll have more on how the Bows match up with Ball State. But for now, reporting from Hollywood, I'm Kyle Chinen for This Is Now.
Got to get that stand up in front of the Hollywood sign. Yeah, right. One in LA. All right, continuing coverage continues right here on H&N. The game's tomorrow. Keep checking those H&N digital platforms for updates as well. Kyle's filing a number of stories there.
Yeah, so some UH volleyball and tacos tomorrow for Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Whoa, I forgot about that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for your This Is Now. So glad to be back with you Wednesday. Ashley's going to be joining you again at First at 4 on KHNO. A lot of developing news out there, so she'll be tracking that and bring you the latest at 4 again on KHNO. Wanted to leave you with this. Couldn't resist it. More amazing surf video. Have a good one, guys.